Imagine feeling comfortable in your skin all day long. No uncomfortable bloating stopping you from living your life. Well, today I'm giving you 11 proven strategies to help make that happen. If we haven't met before, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian that has specialized in gut health. And I have helped hundreds of people, including my own, fix their bloating issues. And today I'm here to help you too. So let's get into the video. Now, chances are, if you have clicked on this video, bloating has been bothering you. And I really do empathize because bloating can be very painful. It can make you feel self-conscious and it can hold you back from living your life. But the first thing that you need to do to get on top of your bloating is to figure out what the root cause is. So if you haven't already, I need you to watch this video here after you have finished with this one, because getting to the root cause of your bloating is going to be one of the most significant things that you can do. Now, one of the reasons many of us get bloated is because we are swallowing extra air. And this can build up and cause bloating. Now, it's natural to swallow a varying amount of air throughout the day, but some of us swallow excessive amounts. And we can avoid this by doing a couple of things. The first one is to limit the use of straws. Using straws when you're drinking, it can lead to swallowing extra air. You also want to limit sucking on hard candies or using too much chewing gum. These are common culprits of swallowing extra air. And they also often contain artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols, which can be a bloating trigger for many. You also need to eat very slowly and chew your food very well. When we eat quickly, we tend to gulp back air without even realizing that we are doing it. But each bite of food should be about the size of a teaspoon, and you should chew most food upwards of 20 times. I like to tell my clients a little trick is to just try to put your knife and fork down in between mouthfuls. This can really help slow you down. And plus, if you slow down and eat more mindfully, you're much more likely to eat within a more portion-controlled manner, which will also help with you overeating and ending up feeling bloated as a result. Because when it comes to good nutrition, how we eat is just as important as what we eat. You also want to reduce your intake of carbonated beverages, like your sodas, your fizzy drinks, or your sparkling water. For context, one glass, so around 250 mils of sparkling water. This actually produces 900 mils of gas from all of the air pockets. So making this swap can really make a big difference so you don't feel as blown up. Now, my second strategy is all about utilizing anti-bloat foods, because there are some foods that are very, very good at helping with bloating. I have three favorites in particular. And the first one is having your daily dose of linseeds, which are also known as flax seeds. This is something that I personally eat almost every single day. Now, some people might experience a little bit of gas and bloating when they initially introduce these, but they can lessen the symptoms in the long term, because the soluble fiber in the flaxseed. This can help regulate gas production and movement through the digestive tract. You want to start with 1 dessert spoon and gradually build up to about 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. But what's also really important is that you need to make sure you're drinking more water here too. You need to consume an extra cup of fluid to make sure the linseeds can work effectively. And a common question I'm always asked is whether or not you should go for ground or whole linseeds. And the answer is whichever one you prefer. But the ground versions are typically easier to digest. Now, I'm going to pause here and ask that if you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the red subscribe button below. It really helps support my channel. And if you're looking for healthy, high protein recipe ideas, I'd recommend following me over on Instagram. Now, my second favorite food for reducing bloating is oats. Again, because they are an excellent source of soluble fiber. And soluble fiber is not a bulky type of fiber. It's actually a soft gel-forming fiber that helps keep everything running smoothly. And my third favorite anti-bloat food is kiwis. And kiwis are low in FODMAPS, which means that almost everybody can tolerate them without any discomfort. But they're also high in an enzyme called actinidin. And this enzyme helps the body digest proteins in meat, nuts, beans, legumes, and even gluten. So it makes kiwis the perfect after dinner snack or dessert to aid with your digestion. So linseeds, oats, and kiwis are my three favorite anti-bloat foods. But they do all have something in common, which brings me on to my next strategy. Strategy 3 is avoiding constipation. If you're constipated, you are much more likely to feel bloated and uncomfortable. I will do a full video on constipation in the future because it is actually an issue that so many people struggle with, and it really impacts your quality of life. But the three things when it comes to managing your constipation always come back to fiber, fluid, and exercise. You need to be eating enough fiber, and fiber is essentially anything that comes from a plant. So your fruits, your veggies, your whole grains, your nuts, and your beans and legumes and seeds. These are all great sources of fiber. And most of us are not nearly coming close to consuming as much fiber as we should be. However, believe it or not, actually eating too much fiber can make you constipated too. And not that many people realize this, but particularly if you're not drinking enough fluid with the fiber. Because for fiber to work and for it to do its job effectively, fiber needs fluid. So if you increase your fiber but you don't bring in the necessary additional fluids, that is when you might end up like a blocked kitchen sink. So always remember that fluid and fiber go hand in hand. And the last part of the constipation trio is that movement, particularly walking and running. But all forms of movement are good to help get things moving. Now, there are some foods that are believed to have a soothing effect on our digestive system. Ginger, for example, this might promote movement that can relieve pain and a buildup of gas. And ginger blends nicely into smoothies or in tea, or appears lovely in dishes like curries and stir fries too. Fennel is another one, and most notably the dried fennel seeds. And these are rich in a compound called anethole. And this again might help relax our digestive system, helping to reduce and relieve gas. And fennel seeds are great in many things, like over soups, in salads, or added into a pasta dish. Then we have peppermint, in particular your concentrated peppermint oil. And this has been shown to have positive, soothing and relaxing results for people with IBS. Peppermint tea itself is also a great option, and I personally vouch for this one as a great after dinner drink of choice. Now, we all know that plants and plant foods are excellent for our health and particularly our gut health, but they can also bring on that bloating, gas and discomfort for many. But there are some strategies that we can use to help our body adjust better. The first one is don't go from 0 to 100 when it comes to fiber. Jumping from a low fiber intake to a high fiber intake too quickly. This can overwhelm your gut, leading to bloating. Instead, you want to gradually add more plant-based foods over time. This will give your gut time to adapt. And remember that your gut can adapt and adjust. So don't get discouraged if you're trying to make all these healthy changes in terms of increasing your fiber intake and you're not feeling great initially. Now, it can be particularly beneficial to take it slower with the gas-producing foods. And these are things like your legumes, your beans, and your cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli, your cauliflower, and your cabbage. But a few helpful tips. So for the legumes, like your beans and your lentils, instead of piling up overnight, introduce lentils 1/4 cup at a time and increase again every 2 days. You can also try gentler legumes first. So if larger beans like chickpeas and black beans cause you issues, for example, something like the lentils may be easier to start with. And this is because lentils contain fewer oligosaccharides. And this is a type of prebiotic fiber, excellent for gut health, but it can create extra gas as your gut bacteria ferment it. You can also rinse canned legumes or soak dried legumes. If you do this before cooking, it helps reduce the oligosaccharide content. And again, this will make them that little bit more gentle on your stomach. Then the cruciferous vegetables, they can be a big culprit for many, like your cauliflower, for example. So again, just increase them slowly and consider cooking them as well, because that makes them a little bit easier to digest. And strategy 6 is navigating FODMAPS. FODMAPS are another suspect for bloating in many, particularly if you have IBS. And these are foods that are particularly high in fermentable carbohydrates. For example, onions and garlic tend to be a big trigger for many people. And in this situation, following a low FODMAP approach is a tool that can be used to identify specific foods that are poorly tolerated. And it begins with a short-term period of restricting foods that are high in FODMAPs, then followed by a gradual reintroduction of these foods. You can then pinpoint which ones are better tolerated and which ones are not, and at what dose they start to give you problems. Now, it's really important to remember that a low FODMAP approach, it's not meant to be a permanent restricting diet, and it is best done with the support of a dietitian because it's not the most straightforward thing to follow. Now, if people are interested, let me know in the comments below and I'm happy to do a follow-up video where I dive deeper into the low FODMAP approach. Now, this strategy is going to be very surprising for many, but not eating enough can make you bloated. And I see this a lot with people who are struggling with eating disorders or disordered eating, because our gut is a muscle. And just like any other muscle, it requires energy to be able to do its work. And when we don't have energy coming in for our gut, the body slows down non-essential functions, like your digestion. Then your whole gut function slows down and you start to feel more bloated. So your gut needs nourishment and nutrition for it to work effectively. And if you do have a very restrictive eating pattern and you cut out and avoid lots of different foods, this can impact gut microbiome diversity, and this can cause symptoms like bloating and gas. So when people do recover from disordered eating or eating disorders, they will nearly always see improvements in gut function too. Now, strategy 8 is movement. You can start with the obvious gentle walking or running and just getting up and about. This is great because it helps get everything moving and it helps excess gas diffuse out. Even standing over sitting helps. But you can actually do yoga, and there is particular gut-directed yoga flows that have been shown to help with easing digestive discomfort and helping with symptoms of bloating. Now, strategy 9 is having a regular eating pattern. For many, having smaller meals more frequently throughout the day can be helpful. But if you have an irregular eating pattern where you go long periods throughout the day without eating, and then you eat large quantities in one sitting, or if you eat late at night, this can all impact your digestion and can cause bloating. Now, the next strategy is to just be careful of diet foods. Diet foods, they often contain what are called sugar alcohols, and these are triggers for bloating in many people. They're often in things like your protein powders, your protein bars, your sugar-free biscuits, and your sugar-free chocolates. I see them a lot in chewing gums, and they're in a lot more yogurts and protein puddings now as well. But if you eat a lot of these, it might be worth considering, are these a trigger? And if cutting back on these types of foods may be helpful. Now, my last strategy is super simple, but makes such a big difference. Just loosen your belt, or don't be wearing your really tight gym leggings all day long. Your gut needs room for it to breathe and for it to do its work. And if you're wearing clothes that are too tight, it doesn't give your stomach room to function. Now, there we have 11 strategies to help you ease and reduce your bloating. Make sure you have watched this video here too, because if you don't know what your main trigger is, it's going to be even harder to address it. And if you have enjoyed this video, I have a feeling you'll also enjoy my video about food cravings. I will leave it on the screen here too. As a thank you for making it all the way to the end, I want to let you know about a free recipe ebook that I have, which I have left linked in the description box below. As always, stay happy and healthy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.